Hey guys, it's Zach here, and today we're checking out the next Kung Fu standalone release from Arrow Video. Originally released in 1984, it's the 8-diagram pole fighter. Another entry from the Shaw Brothers lineup, the 8-diagram pole fighter is directed by Lau Kar Leung and stars a wide cast from the studio, headed in this film particularly by Gordon Liu. Most notable among the cast as well is Alexander Fu Sheng, who unfortunately passed away in a car accident during the time of filming, making this the bittersweet final film in his career. Regardless, Lau Kar Leung brings us a fantastic watch, filled with some surprisingly good writing for an action film and a wide cast to show off in both acting and choreography. On top of the movie itself, we've got a great-looking Blu-ray release from Arrow Video to unbox. It includes some bonuses on and off disc, but before we get to the release, let's talk a bit more about the film itself. The 8-diagram pole fighter opens with a terrible fortune falling upon the Yang clan. Mother Yang, played by Lily Lee, alongside her daughters, played by Kara Hui and Young Ching Ching, read the fortune. It foretells that one of the family's 7 sons will die in the near future as they face the might of the barbarians. So, in the very next scene, we of course lunge into polearm choreography madness as each of the 7 sons are introduced and immediately thrown into the battle at Golden Beach. While the cast of brothers makes up some great cameos, they're short-lived, as the intense battle ends in a ton of bloodshed, including the death of Father Yang and all but 2 of the brothers. The only survivors are Brother 5, played by Gordon Liu, who disappears in the aftermath and flees to the mountains, and Brother 6, played by Alexander Fu Sheng, who returns to his family alone and in shock, bearing the death toll to the sorrow of Mother Yang, his sisters, and family. It turns out, the Yang family was led into a trap by their superior who sent them into battle, father to the Empress, Pan Mei, played by Lam Hak Ming, who now brands the remaining brothers as traitors and pursues them rigorously. So, as the 2 remaining brothers flee from the Imperial soldiers led by Pan Mei, Brother 6 hides away at home, a mental wreck experiencing the strongest of grief. Here, the remainder of the Yang family debates on how to take action, all while under the rigid watch of Pan Mei's malicious barbarian army. Brother 5, however, finds his way to a remote temple where he wishes to stay and dedicate his life to Buddha, as he feels he has little left to live for. So, from here on out, it's the story of Gordon Liu as a pole-fighting monk. He faces many challenges in his misguided pursuit, from forcing his way into monkhood to learning the teachings of Buddha and how it will skew his worldview. Overall, the 8-diagram pole fighter is a great watch. Despite the loss of Fu Sheng halfway through filming, the cast and crew pull off an amazing film packed with both heart and action. All the cast members of the Yang family pour so much emotion into each and every scene, really making you care about the fate of our leads. On top of that, the action works to bolster the film even further. Not surprising coming from director Lau Kar Leung, whose choreography is top-notch, featuring some of the best pole fighting scenes in Kung Fu cinema. Seriously, the final fight is absolutely gushing with weapons, skills, and blood. The amount of people who lose their teeth is both gross and impressive, and I love watching the various members of the Yang family face destruction with such vigor and skill. It's a sight to see. Definitely check this movie out for a great example of what the genre can bring. If you've already seen the movie, then let me know in the comments what you think of the story and the action. Maybe after watching a ton of kung fu comedies, this film just stood out more to me, but nonetheless, it will be one that I revisit. Until then, we've got a physical release of the 8-diagram pole fighter brought to us on Blu-ray by Arrow Video, loaded with a ton of extras to check out. So, without further ado say, let's go ahead and unbox our release. Here we are with Arrow Video's Blu-ray release of the 8-diagram pole fighter. It comes in a standard style slipcover, featuring newly commissioned artwork by Mark Aspinall on the front, with all of the release information printed on the back. Arrow also released a store-exclusive version with an alternate slipcover featuring the original poster work for the film instead. The releases are, of course, otherwise identical. If we remove the slip, we'll find a clear Blu-ray case with matching sleeve. Inside, there's a single Blu-ray disc on the right, as well as a first print booklet on the left. Running 24 pages long cover to cover, the booklet contains an article by author and Shaw Brothers aficionado Terrence J. Brady. He writes about the 8-diagram pole fighter and its place within Shaw Brothers cinema history. Woven within the pages are also several stills from the film, and we of course have cast and crew information as well as the usual release notes. With that, however, we can circle back to our case to finally note that the sleeve is, of course, reversible, featuring the original poster work for the film on the optional side. With that, however, we fully covered the physical aspects of this release, so let's head on over and check out what all is included on the disc. Arrow Video presents the 8-diagram pole fighter with a brand new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. The film looks fantastic on screen and brings with it the original lossless Cantonese, Mandarin, and English mono audio tracks. On top of those, we also get a brand new commentary track to listen to as well, featuring Jonathan Clements, author of A Brief History of China. I do believe this is my first commentary track with Clements, so I was excited to watch the film alongside someone new. He brings to his recording a great historical knowledge of China, injecting some fantastic information into the one-sided conversation. Going into the film, I had no idea the historical roots that the story held. The real-life Yang family had quite the bearing in history, specifically with the rise of the Song dynasty, and Clements shares these insights in an engaging talk that only works to elevate a film I already enjoyed. I'm hopeful we get to hear more from Clements in future releases. With the feature presentation aside, we've got a ton of visual bonus features to check out as well. Arrow packs in all sorts of stuff, from interviews to trailers and more. To start us out, we have a newly recorded discussion video with film critic and historian Tony Raines. Running about 22 minutes long, Raines' discussion focuses on the 8-diagram pole fighter from both a production standpoint and a historical standpoint. He discusses various cast and crew members and the various stories behind the film, as well as delving into the history and legends of the Yang family, and how their portrayal in the film comes together. A great watch for those interested in the deeper stories and tidbits behind the movie. From here, we move now to a trio of interviews originally filmed in 2004 by Frédéric Ambroisine. These interviews run over 80 minutes long altogether and feature stars Gordon Liu, Lily Lee, and Yung Ching Ching. All three appear in the 8-diagram pole fighter, and in their interviews share their memories and stories from the production, from working with various cast and crew to their own careers and where the movie sits within their filmography. It's quite bittersweet to listen to Gordon Liu in particular, as he talks about working alongside Alexander Fu Sheng in the leading pair, and how much he misses his fellow actor and martial artist, a major loss for many within the industry. This, however, leads into one final standout supplement before finishing up the release with the standard fare. In tandem with the memories of our cast, included on the disc is a short film made by the Shaw brothers commemorating the late Alexander Fu Sheng. It's about 6 minutes long and is presented here via a German dub telescene, of which is the only locatable copy of the footage for this release. Again, many of the cast and crew made a point of how it's a shame this film is mostly known for the death of a member during its time, but the loss of Fu Sheng really did weigh on a lot of the participants, and it's nice to see that Arrow was able to retrieve a copy of his memoriam video in any way. With that, however, we can round out the release with the usual style inclusions. We have the alternate opening credits for the film from the English release, a couple of trailers for the movie, including an original theatrical release trailer and a digital reissue trailer, and finally, an image gallery, containing a collection of 54 photos, stills, and promotional pieces from the film. Overall, the 8-diagram pole fighter is a fantastic film with a history behind it in both story and production. It marks a major point in Kung Fu cinema history while still holding up itself as a phenomenal film. Arrow Video's restoration work looks fantastic, and their physical packaging and bonus features elevate the movie a step further. Filled with emotion on and off screen, and packed with a spectacle of fight scenes and choreography, this is a release to pick up for sure if you're at all interested in the genre. Leave your thoughts and opinions on the film and Arrow's Blu-ray release in the comments below, and thanks so much for joining me here once more on Pajama Theater. Like this video and subscribe to support the channel, and until then, thanks again, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.